All right. Very simple, man. Okay? We're just going to have a conversation. It's going to be fun. I promise.
All right, that's relative. Let's go.
Hey, welcome everybody to Business Over Beer, Untapped.
Now with more.
I am your co-host, Ben Surratt, and alongside me is...
Keys.
What do we have today, Keys?
All right. So our guest today is Trevor Hart, owner of Vancouver in Real Life.
VIRL. VAIRL. Right?
It's also Veita project, but you know.
A lot of letters there.
Also Veita project, Vancouver in Real Life. It's a whole thing.
It's Veita Project Inc.
Yeah.
Veita Project Inc. DBA. Vancouver in real life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Or IRL. For
IRL, yeah.
For you.
Well, thanks for being here, man. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Let's just, for people who don't know you, I don't even know you that well. So this is going to be a discovery meeting for me as well. Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Trevor Hart, as was mentioned. I operate Vancouver in real life, which I assume we'll get into more details there. But I like to describe myself as an innovative manager. I like taking ideas as concepts and then bringing them to at least their test phase, if not to their final phase. And that's what I really enjoy.
Oh. And who do you work with? Like just different businesses? What kind of businesses do you work with or individuals?
With Vancouver in real life, which is part of a software platform that we're building, and this is already the V1 version of that. Our target market is small businesses. We really wanted to focus on those who don't have brick and mortar stores because we want to help with visibility through various platforms, online, offline. So that's our bread and butter, but we also work with those who are more established, have brick and mortars, nonprofits, and also the arts community.
Love it. Well, geez, Kim, you started already.
The sound effects.
We're leading up to ThriveCon. I think I get a pass here.
You get a pass.
I'm sorry, it's Lewitt, okay? It's my favorite brewery, okay?
Get it. Trevor, you brought beer.
Gotta have beer.
Sorry.
What did you bring for us?
Now, what is that? Lewitt Brewing?
Lewitt.
Probably my current favorite brewery of all time, and luckily I live 2 blocks from there.
Oh, geez. So you got the Mount St. Helens, which is the type of style of beer, and the Iron Rabbit, right?
Yep. Iron Rabbit.
Go to hazy.
That's so good. That's a good one. All right, let's open these.
Click. Click.
You know what we should do? That'd be cool. Like, instead of the clap,
Yeah.
do the beer opening as the...
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Cheers.
Cheers. Tink, 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 tink.
First sip is
Not bad.
good.
Stuff.
So a Helles style is more like a Pilsner or lager?
I'm not an expert on it.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of
But
tastes like.
they're meant to be, all day. They're porch pounders for sure.
Yeah, my time in Iceland, my favorite vacationing spot. So
Oh.
Pilsners are actually on the soda menu.
Yeah.
And they're not even on the alcohol menu.
No way. A Reykjavik.
It's a good place.
Yeah. I was there one time at the airport.
Me too.
But I was like, oh man, this place looks awesome. I want to come back. And I never did. But.
Recommend.
Okay, so let's talk about your endeavors. First, are you from Vancouver?
No. Originally from North Dakota. I grew up in the middle of nowhere out there.
What part?
Middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
Farm and ranch, middle of nowhere. Drove 22 miles to school every day. Graduated with a class of 20. So, small town. Fell in love with the Pacific Northwest when I went out here on a 4-H trip. In high school. Knew I wanted to move out to the West Coast, and luckily I found employment out here while in college, and moved out immediately because I did not want to live on the farm.
And so how long ago? How many years was that?
11,
Oh,
2013.
geez. Okay.
It's been a minute.
Wow. Do you miss the Midwest?
No.
It's a trick question.
I mean, I fell in love with Fargo while I was there in college, but I was ready for trees, maybe some hills.
And what did you do when you got here after you moved out? What was your employment?
Yeah, so I worked in finance, actually the same location that Ivory worked at. So I spent 9-ish years there before
9 years?
yeah, before leaving and starting my own business.
Wow. What drove you to leave and start your own business? Like, what was that? Were you just sick of it? Were you like, yeah, what was that?
So no issues with the location. I'm not going to mention them though. Actually enjoyed working there a lot. I was hired on there in the position that I started in mainly because of my innovation mindset and the licensing I already had, so that helped. And then I moved around there, being known as the person who could take an idea concept, as I mentioned before, and then turning it into an actual test before it was either enacted as a full-time business unit or service tool. Granted, COVID happened in there and switched things up. But going through all that, that was fun and whatnot. But I worked really closely with salespeople and making their lives better, allowing them to bring in more money. And I mean, I was paid well, but sitting next to guys making 7 figures.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
Started to think, I can take my talents and maybe reap what I sow, whether that be for better or worse. So I decided, those golden handcuffs weren't so shiny, and decided I wanted to help people that don't really need, or I was currently helping people that probably didn't need help in the long run, working in finance that was only with folks who are of a higher net worth, and wanted to help people that could actually benefit from some help more so.
That had to be a scary endeavor, though.
Yes, that was in 2021 when I left, and I also sold my house right before interest rates went up, so perfect timing there.
Jeez.
And, gave myself a little padding, which I did use that first year while I was working on the idea, which I started while I was still at my employer, but gallivanted around the country and the world for a little bit before settling down to really work on the business. Yeah, so that padding made it less stressful.
Right.
That's that.
But it's just you?
Mostly just me, yeah.
Yeah.
I do have help, but I'm the only one who's working every day on it.
Wow. What was the one thing you didn't expect?
So working in a
Trick question.
well-regulated industry, I was very used to having basically an unlimited budget with whatever I was doing, and I worked very closely with our legal and compliance department, which I took that mindset over with me. So I made sure I had some good lawyers, and I checked in with them basically every step of the way, and that racked up a very large bill very quickly. When I probably could have just went fast and loose and broke things and would have at this point had no issues. But I know I'm very well protected, but that drained my budget and was unexpected how expensive that gets very quickly.
Yeah, big time. So where are you Are you serving all over the U.S. or just locally?
So right now our target market is just Clark County, and Vancouver in real life just rolls off the tongue a little better than Clark County in real life, and there being multiple Clark counties that are well known.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So our long-term plan, we were actually formed Veita Product as a tech company. So we're building this product around Vancouver because that's where I live and where I love. But once we are at a point where we have figured out, okay, this is what we want the platform to be, then we will hopefully copy and paste the model in different communities around the states. But until we're at that point, we're going to be 100% Clark County.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
So you're looking at like a 5-year plan, or is it like a 10, 15 year? Like, what's your idea?
For the full vision's probably 10, 15.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully by the time we hit a 3-year mark, we're copying and pasting elsewhere. but that involves us taking the current platform, either making it profitable enough that it can stand on its own with hired help who can keep operating it, while I go around and bring up the other versions of it. So that's what I want to figure out, even though the platform as itself, it's not my intention for it to be a profit maker. It's something I want to license out to either nonprofits or even chambers of commerces that they can provide as a benefit for their communities. And it won't be necessary for them to generate a profit in those cases. But running it as a business as myself, before I can get those licensing fees, I need to eventually, make money.
That is, what is your why would a nonprofit or the chamber want your software? What does that help them do?
So it's not so much to help them as it is to be that tool for the community. It's to help their other local small businesses with visibility.
Okay.
It's to help the community discover those businesses, local events, nonprofit services. Like all that's going to be there in one spot, and it's hopefully going to be something they can just turn the key and then release it upon their community. And
wow, that's cool. What made you think of that? Like what made you, like, where'd that come from?
So we had a bigger idea pre-COVID and had a bunch of different aspects to it. It was not so much social media, but had social media aspects to it, as well as what I'm currently doing. And that's something we still want to do as a whole. And this is just like 1/4 of our overall project that we're slowly expanding out to.
Okay.
I mean, one is I want to make money. I would love to retire and not work 40, 50 hours a week. Granted, I'm working more than that right now. But also just create something that's actually positive. The internet's, going to shit currently, I would say, especially with AI. And social media is toxic as all hell. So we wanted to build something that's positive for the community, still allows you to connect, and helps people out actually.
I love that.
And pretty straightforward with the mission. Like, it's pretty easy to understand what you're going to gain from it as a business owner as well.
Yes, and we're still, again, testing phase. So we are trying different things out, seeing what people actually like, what can help us pay our bills here and there. So trying to work with both the business side as well as the consumer side gives us lots of opportunities, but also does make it complicated from just a building a business standpoint, especially on your own.
Yeah.
But it's just one step at a time.
And getting, I would say, getting that feedback. I've just always thought that getting feedback from people can be like pulling teeth, like for real. And it's not like, I don't want to hear, we talked this about coaches, coaching. Like, I want real feedback. I know what I'm good at. I want to know what holes I'm missing. And I'm sure you're looking for that too. Like, you need real-time feedback. And is it like pulling teeth with these people sometimes just to get that? Or do they explain it correctly?
Getting feedback is very difficult. But when it has been given, it's been so beneficial. Our events calendar portion of it, we started off as that was just a small feature, but it's now become probably the biggest reason people find the website organically. And that simply came from me connecting with Artstra, a local art nonprofit, and they were looking for a community calendar that they could post all the events for the arts community on there, and also direct the different arts people to post their events on, because they could no longer handle running a calendar. And that worked out great. I've now become very well connected with the local arts community. We rebranded or rebuilt out our calendar, and it's now open for everyone to use, and that's all thanks to them just providing some simple feedback.
Wow, that's incredible.
We use it. Passages uses it. Because I think I had a community calendar as well. And then when I met Trevor, I was like, screw that. Everybody go to you, because just his system makes the most sense. So
If you have events out there, add them to my calendar. Or I'll add them for you, but that's not free.
That's awesome. Why did you pick nonprofits? Why was that something that kind of just, it just happened organically, or was that on purpose? Or
That was on purpose. That's actually where we took our first step while we were trying to build Veita project. Veita's actually loosely translates to give in Icelandic, as I mentioned. My favorite place on vacation.
There we go.
So we started out trying to build a fundraising type platform, which there's plenty of them out there, but we wanted to build one that had less bells and whistles, something more accessible for smaller micro nonprofits. I went through a whole process of meeting with consultants, looking at actually going straight and building the software rather than having a test version. After we got done with all the planning and just learning from the community, they finally gave me what that would cost, and that was way over my price range. So we did build a test version, got a couple test clients, started talking more with them, working with them, and found that micro nonprofits, those that raise less than $50,000 a year, need more hand holding than just some fun marketing tools. So adding in a consultative service would have had required a lot more overhead, and that's just not something we were able to handle at the time. So we had to pivot a little bit, and that's, if you still go to veitaproject.com, you can see what's left over from it. It's still up and running, but we're not taking any new clients right now. We wanted to pivot. That same platform was supposed to be able to work as a Etsy competitor, so we wanted to be able to build little storefronts for businesses that don't have a brick and mortar or didn't have a website already up. Maybe they're just using social media. We wanted to be that step, or that first step for them. The software we were using for those test versions didn't jive, so we had to build something new, which then became Vancouver in Real Life.
Oh, got it. There it is.
There it is.
Full circle. What was it like getting those price points? Like, I'm always curious, especially when it comes to like software and techie stuff. Like, did you have sticker shock, or did you kind of know like it's going to be kind of?
And two-parter. That, and also, is there one that you wouldn't invest in again?
Oh, good question.
No names, of course. But
That I wouldn't invest in again. What do you mean?
yeah, is there one that you're like, I should not have used this or have done this to make the business where it is today?
I'll think about that one. So the first one, yes. Granted, I was looking stateside. I was looking local developers.
Sticker shock, though?
Yeah. So on the low end, to have what I considered a relatively simple-ish platform was going to be about $150,000.
Oh!
Plus upkeep. And the higher end was $250,000.
$250,000?
Yeah. And with no history, there's no way I'd ever be able to get a loan. I would have had to find investors right out of the gate, and I didn't want to lose control that early. I didn't even know there was a there yet. We did surveys with different nonprofits, and it seemed like there was a need for this, and they didn't know how they came about their current software they were using. Usually it was just something that was handed to them at some point, or they just picked one. So, yeah, that sticker shock is why I decided, hey, I'll find someone that can help me build a website, and we found just tools, and we built it for just a couple $1,000s.
Wow.
And upkeep's pennies. So yeah, I'm sure if I went overseas and had it developed, it'd probably be 10% of that. But I wanted to work locally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, huge sticker shock. And now vendors that I wouldn't use anymore.
So I'm sure there were sticker shots for that as well.
Probably go back to not using actual lawyers right away.
Yeah.
This is part of that. Otherwise, everything else I priced out pretty well. Early on when I had a larger cash reserve, I was a little more fast and loose with things. But as things started to tighten up and I knew I needed to balance the outflow, now very more conscious about adding bells and whistles to the website. If I'm going to do something that's going to cost me $100 a month, I need to make sure it's going to generate $100 a month, either directly or indirectly.
Yeah, that was my next question. And was it difficult to relay that to your customers? Like, was it difficult to ask for money from your customers? Because a lot of us, I still have a problem with that sometimes, asking for money. Was that difficult for you?
Yes, and in my previous life, anytime you want to do something for free, people are more than willing to tell you, yes, that's a great idea. But as soon as you ask for $1, even doing a survey or something, it changes people's opinions.
Yep.
And they're even just $1. They're
Yep.
likely to say no. Which I initially did want to charge money just for the listing itself, because that's what my competitors, Nationwide's ones that own listing websites, charge. Either sign-up fees for as they list everything on there, because that takes time, or for keeping it on there, because that also takes time. But I decided, okay, test phase, let's just do it for free. And even that's difficult to get people to do a bunch of work to add themselves, even if it's going to benefit themselves, just because time is money.
Yeah.
And taking that extra work for something you don't know if it's going to pay off.
Is it a lot of hold handing then? Like, hey, just checking in, like a lot of that, or
I'd call that drip marketing.
drip market? Okay, yeah.
As soon as it becomes their idea, they're more likely. Same with if you're going to ask for money. I mean, you could set it up and say, hey, this is now going to cost you money. We're adding this bell or whistle, and it's going to cost a little bit of money. You do need to convince them that it's going to be worthwhile, and it has to become their idea. If you're just selling them, that's no one's going to buy it, unless it's something they're already searching for, which that's usually not the case in most situations.
Their idea. I like that.
Yeah, that's where I believe in your previous conversations you've had talks about people that don't like doing sales, but they like to educate.
Right.
And when you educate, it helps the person you're educating, formulate, what the benefits are, weigh those out, and it is their idea to actually take that first step rather than being sold.
I love that. And I love that you listen to other podcasts. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. You have another question? I'm asking other questions. I'm sorry. I just love this stuff. So
I know a lot about Trevor.
I know. So okay, I want to know. You said something really interesting, and that is, how the internet and social media can be so freaking toxic, and it's true. Where do you see that changing, and for the better or for the worse, and why? Because you got to be dealing with it.
The only time it's ever going to get better is if someone starts something new, especially in the tech industry, because they always run on debt for the most part.
What do you mean?
Any tech company is going to start out, and to win, they have to be a monopoly. Otherwise, they're going to underprice everyone to get people to their platform, but eventually they need to make a profit, and that's when everything goes to shit. We're seeing that with all the streaming services that now are throwing in ads because they now need to make money. Netflix started out wanting to be a monopoly, and that was their plan, and that did not work out for them because everyone else decided to go into streaming as well.
Yeah, except Blockbuster. We know how that works.
They missed the boat there.
Yeah. Anyways,
so they all had, they all now have to charge, either higher prices or they need to run ads if they're gonna stay relevant. Same with, food delivery services. No one's making money there. Facebook had to throw on ads to make money. Newspapers have to do more ads or charge a subscription to make money. And as soon as you're playing towards the ad side of things, especially with anything that's content driven, what drives views and gets people to stick around? Controversy.
Yeah.
Or right now you see AI flooding your feeds because, and they're posting it knowing that it's AI because you're going to comment on it then and be like, hey, no, this is AI. Boom, you just gave them what they wanted, and it's turning the internet to shit.
Wow.
Huh. Never thought about it like
Yeah, me neither.
So support your local news websites and pay for a subscription.
Yes.
Wow. Do you think papers are going to eventually just be dead? Or do you think there's always going to be I was just talking, this is funny because I was just talking about this with my dad, one of my dad's friends. Like, he still gets the paper. I'm like, why do you still get the paper? Like, isn't it get everything here? He goes, yeah, but there's something about getting the paper every morning and, getting the big paper on Sundays. Like everybody, I remember my parents were all about, I'm older than you guys, but that was the thing. Getting the big Sunday paper was the thing. But I don't know.
Remember that.
I used to love the funnies in there.
The funnies,
The local stuff.
Calvin and
What's
Hobbes.
going on.
I will say that, Andreas, we interviewed him, and he made a good point that this younger generation is kind of getting fed up with the tech ways.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe newspapers have a resurgence, but like in a new format.
Good call.
So maybe it won't continue to be like a newspaper. Maybe it'll be something elevated from a newspaper, but not fully supported on technology.
Good
I don't
call.
know.
No, I get it.
Yeah, which for those to succeed, they're either going to have to be supported somewhere else financially, or it's going to be ads, or you have to pay for that subscription, which you need to convince someone that's worthwhile. And I think ads might push that way, because I know I am too with helping with visibility. One of the ways we make money is by selling ad space, whether it's on our website, we'll do direct mail marketing, or we produce our own physical content. In which case, we can sell ad space there to small businesses, and they don't have to compete against the big guys to get that ad space. So we can do it much cheaper, and we're breaking through the internet bubbles, which everyone lives on their own internet bubble. And what you see online, it's not the same thing someone else sees. But here we're able to break through all that and get right in front of people that then can have a shared experience.
Man, that's awesome.
Can I see that?
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
No, I have not. Oh man, this is awesome.
Which eventually we do want to create a full physical type catalog, but that's all beyond my expertise, nor do I have time nor the money to produce those at this point. But we'll get there someday.
Outsource.
Yeah, so right now we just have physical event calendars, and then we have available space there for our small business
Aw.
sponsors.
Oh, sorry about that. I was slow. I was like, what are you on about?
I love this.
Which I'll have 200 of those bad boys at the right time.
I mean,
Yeah.
bro, I think it's genius. I think you could sell. You know how many chambers there are in the nation? I mean, dude.
So many. And a lot of them, it's just them. Like, they have no other resource pool.
For real. Oh,
So that's the goal, is to hit them up at some point. And I'm sure we'll have some sort of variability in there where they can adjust it to their needs, or if someone does want to take it as a business and make money off it, we'll include like a business plan and some add-ons where we'll come in and help them set it up, and they can just, hop in and hopefully start making money.
Kind of like a franchise or not?
Kind
That
of, that
licensing.
licensing. I mean, there's additional parts in there where we're going to get into real estate, but that's the 15-year plan.
yeah. I mean, that would be. You could. So I see what you're saying. Like you're kind of like, if I'm just gonna spit, like New Orleans Chamber says, I want to buy your. Would you sell it to them and then they would just run it, or would you kind of oversee what they were doing, or how does that work? I guess.
So that would be more like the franchising side.
Right.
It's kind of like a McDonald's where
Right.
here's everything you need to operate it, but we're still going to support you on the back end. You don't have to worry about the tech side of things.
Right.
We're going to keep it updated. We're going to provide you support. We'll set it up for you. But then it's yours to operate how you want, and then we get our licensing fee or what have you.
Would you do like I mean, that might be. Would you do training for them too? Yeah.
Yeah, full on board. We'd either send myself or someone, when I have employees, they'd go down, stay there for a few months and help them really get it set up. So something like this, I could expand a lot more if I had the financial backing to just advertise like crazy. I can help other people advertise, I just don't have the funding to advertise myself quite yet.
Right. I get it.
So if you mass went out, knocked on doors, put up things, you could probably get your whole city on board, especially if someone's influential that is trying to put into place like a chamber of commerce.
Yeah. Do you think it'd be? And I'm just asking. I don't know. Like, do you think it'd be easier to do a smaller chamber or a smaller? You kind of touched on it earlier, but a smaller nonprofit where you might be able to build them up bigger, and you know what I mean? Or do you think it'd be easier because maybe easier to get through the door?
Starting out, definitely. Well, we're a no-name company. That's the plan. Phase 2, when we do decide to expand and copy and paste what we're doing, we'll find a local influencer, for lack of a better term, someone who does love their community, they're well ingrained into their community, and work with them to set it up. But once we have actual software where they could just, click a download button or submit an info request, then we'll target larger cities. But starting out, it's going to be, some places the size of Vancouver or smaller.
Right.
It's going to be the target market. Like right now, if I tried to, work in Portland, I'd be overwhelmed.
Right.
And the platform wouldn't be able to hold it all at this point.
Yeah. So where would that shift be to get like, okay, now I want to start doing brick and mortars. I want to start doing businesses. I want to start doing bigger businesses. Is that something that you already have in mind, like another phase, or like what's that sign going to be that you see like, okay, I'm ready?
So right now we are, I'd say more of our paying clients are folks that already have brick and mortars that are more worried about their bottom line. They have employees they need to pay. Right now they're the ones more willing and able to, subscribe to our services or buy ad space or send physical postcards. So we're already working with them. But if someone that has more than like 100 employees,
Right.
I don't know if we're going to be any benefit to them at this point, unless they are wanting to do some physical advertising or traditional advertising. So it's finding a way to scale up to help them. But I'm also hesitant to help folks that are like 1,000+ employees in one location, just because they already have that ability. People already know who they are. They can already go buy actual ad space. They can buy a billboard. They can buy TV commercials. So they'll probably never be our target market until way down the road. But then I'm even hesitant while I'm in control to
I get it.
work with them unless we need to sell out.
Yeah, I get it.
Which hopefully we never have to.
Yeah, I get it. I would think the market will tell you too. The market will say, hey, like this is a need. Nike's calling, or whatever it would be. But I see what you're saying for sure.
Things can shift too. In
those
kind of
100%.
businesses, yeah.
100%. So you're going to be at ThriveCon? You're going to be the panel host at ThriveCon.
Yeah, I'll have a booth at ThriveCon.
You are going to have a booth though?
Yep.
Perfect. So maybe talk a little bit about the panel discussion at ThriveCon and what your moderation is going to be like.
This is for those that are going, but also those that missed it. Maybe they're interested in connecting.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, 'cause I assume all you out there watching, this is most likely after ThriveCon.
All 5 of you.
Yeah, so I did hold my own panel way back in Q1 of what year is it? 2024, if you're watching it years from now. And that was an entrepreneurship panel with actually one common panel member.
Oh.
And Jessica Chan with Pop Local. And we were talking there about making the leap to full time. So taking that hobby business and then deciding, hey, I don't want to work a day job anymore. I want to make my living off this. This panel, though, we have an all-woman panel of local business owners. And really we want to echo what was talked about throughout the breakout sessions in ThriveCon, including the opening keynote. And we want to put a nice bow on it. So what we're going to do is cover a chunk of those topics and get some real world, experiences regarding those. So some first-hand experiences from our 5 panelists. And hopefully we find out a lot of good advice and, taking it into actual practice rather than, hearing best practices that people like to talk about, but we don't have someone else's viewpoint of actually going about and doing those things.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun, and I'm so glad you're a part of it, Trevor, seriously. If people want to find you, where do they go? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so you could go to our website, vanwairl.com, and we do have a contact page there if you want to get a hold of me. Otherwise, we are active on Instagram, just vanwairl. And we're also on Facebook, but not as active there. And I manage all those, so anything you do or see on there is all me.
Reddit?
Oh, I do have a Reddit page as well. I have a whole subreddit, which is just Vancouver IRL. I'm not as active as I should be on there, but maybe by the time you see this, I am.
I was never on Reddit.
He turned me on to it. My husband uses it too, but
Is it? You can just find a bunch of information, right? It kind of combines everything.
It was originally designed as a place for reposting articles, and then basically gave you a forum to talk about them. It's changed a bunch now, and they just went public, so I'm sure it's going to get shitified. If it hasn't already.
Hashtag shitified.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's true.
That's awesome. Kimberly Keys. Where can people find Passages?
Yes, Keys here. You can find Passages to Success at passages2success.com, and that's spelled out the word two, T-O. Also, we're on social media, pretty much every single platform. We just joined Reddit, but we don't have a subreddit. But it's at Passages to Success. Or Biz Over Beer, the TikTok.
Yes, Biz Over Beer, TikTok.
Yeah.
We haven't used that in a while either.
No, we have not. I actually don't remember the password. To be continued on that.
Well, Trevor, man, you are awesome.
Thanks for having me.
No, I'm serious.
You guys are awesome too.
I love this. We'll have you back. We're going to have some more time talking to you at ThriveCon. For those who can't make it, I'm sorry. But there's going to be next year. Look for the content on the social medias. And I'm sure Trevor will be on there. I will be on there. I'm sure Keys will be on there. And we will see you all